Vice President Vegas, we do have a quorum. Would you like me to start recording? Vice President Vegas, we're now in record mode.
Wonderful. Thank you, and welcome everyone to the regularly scheduled meeting for the Board of Public Works for September 1st at 10:11. Thank you for joining us, and Mr. Norman Tanata, can you please take roll call for us?
Thank you, Vice President Vegas. My name is Norman Tonado with the Board of Public Works. Present, we have Commissioner Corzan, Commissioner Reyes, and Commissioner Pro Tem Davis. We're also joined by City Attorney, Mr. Kellen Kretz. And again, my name is Norman with the Board of Public Works.
Okay. Thank you. All right. And I understand we do have public comment at this time, general public comment. And Mr. Tanada, do we have neighborhood council comments?
Yes, correct. We do have two speakers that would like to make public comment and two speakers that would like to speak towards each item. No neighborhood council commentary
Okay.
at the moment.
All right. At this time, then, we'll take up public comments. And do we have, excuse me, Norman, do we have two public comments?
Yes, two speakers for public
Okay.
comment.
All right. Why don't we take the person with the initial starting with W for public comment, please?
Please go ahead. Right, man. Black puppet back here in the house. Now, I know that I have to come here and beg you motherfuckers to give me some city services in the ghetto. Now, we go down Coronado Avenue between 8th Street and James M. Woods. There ain't no street lights working no more. You shut off all the goddamn street lights with your dumb-ass public work department and Bureau of Street Lighting. And then over on James M. Woods, between Carondelet Street and South Hoover, you also turned off the goddamn street lights. Not one of them motherfuckers working. Now, why? It's because I think you're dealing. I think this commission is trying to put drug dealers in my community in K-Town. Otherwise, why the fuck would the streetlights be off? Now, when I deal in my neighborhood, I need streetlights to show the product. So I want you to turn my goddamn fucking streetlights back on. Then over on Carondelet, between, what's that street called?
Hoover Street.
Hoover Street, thank you, and San Marino Street, we got ourselves an encampment along with gang members and dumping on a daily basis. And I call you guys on 311 and I go online and you don't do shit about it. And then South Hoover Street on 8th Street between Rampart and Hoover is more garbage, more dumping. Now, how come you treating me so bad? Do you want me to start coming here 3 days a week again like I used to with that other fag motherfucker that used to be the president here? Remember the good times we used to have? Like the fucking say, da-da-da-da, good times anywhere you got a nigga, good times. That's what we're gonna do then. I want to see some goddamn city services. I want my right to walk down a street and not get my ass put in a shit behind my back. I want to see which niggas are hiding behind
2 minutes,
which
2 minutes is
tree,
up.
motherfucker.
All right, and then the other public comment that we have is with the first initial starting with A.
For the record, I believe I signed up as a dirty nigger.
Oh, that's right.
The reason because of that is because a dirty nigger is what we deal with ever since Miss Dale Fisher put Mr. Mark Ridley Nigger, the nigga behind bars. So now we know a dirty nigger got caught. And that's the reason why Mike Davis made an example in his comment when he said to Mr. Spindler, aka Puppet, "Oh, Mr. Price, you and I gotta make an example out of that white motherfucker, cause his ass is dirty." No. He was talking about the DWP.
I need to interrupt your public
and the
comment, and Mr.
infrastructure
W,
of
you
the
have your
DWP,
first warning.
because,
Thank you.
again, Miss Teresa, I got the goddamn floor. Stop interrupting my motherfucking public comment. So going back to that dumb nigger or the dumb niggas of LA, you got busted. And now you got to do 42 months for the DWP and that former fucking Peter Thomas attorney right across to my right-hand side, that dirty nigger too. So take the shit and recycle and move on to new infrastructure, Mr. Davis. Because like Ridley Thomas would say, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Now who's the wreck? Fix our fucking infrastructure, fill in our fucking potholes, and provide us with ADA 2010 standards for a fucking nigger like me can walk the street safely and navigate around your property.
2 minutes is up.
All right, I will review protocols here for public comment. If we hear any disruption for our meeting, you've received one warning, Mr. W. I'm looking at you. And if it continues, you will be quietly asked to leave chambers. Thank you. All right, we are done with general public comment, and we don't have any neighborhood council comments. Commissioners, can I get a second to my motion to approve the minutes for Friday, August 18th?
Second.
All right, Mr. Tanada, we have a first by myself and a second by Pro Tem Davis. If you can please take roll call to approve the minutes.
Great, thank you, Vice President Vegas. I'll go ahead and tabulate the vote. Commissioner Corzine?
Aye.
Vice President Vegas? Aye. Oh. Commissioner Pro Tem Davis? Oh.
Aye.
Commissioner Reyes?
Aye.
And Vice President Vegas?
Aye.
Great, this item has been approved.
Thank you. All right, and we're done with the minutes, and we've closed general public comment and neighborhood council comments. So then let's move to item number 1. And we have a public comment for item number 1. So why don't we do public comment first, and then we will read the information into the record. Let's start with Mr. W.
I like that shit. That's a good one. Yeah, CD9. I just saw that nigga in the high elevator today. That would be the defendant, the people of the state of California versus Curran Price, making him the 4th nigga to be indicted in the last 3 years. Let's give him a hand. Good job. Very good job. Continue with all of your work. Thank you to Agent Cicerelli of the FBI, and thank you to U.S. Attorney Mac Jenkins. And thank you to the U.S. Attorney, Mr. Estrada, a fine man. Now we're going to do this other shit, but did you get a recusal from Mr. Price? I believe that his wife, the second wife, Delbra Richardson Price, unindicted, of course, for now, as the fucking county metropolitan transportation, she have contracts involving the MTA, according to news reports I believe I read. So how come he ain't recusing himself from this item? And how come Mr. Davis isn't recusing himself from this item? You have a conflict too. What? Yeah. Because Mr. Davis was at that 2016 press conference standing there with his bow tie while Mr. Price said that somebody ought to be made a goddamn example of because he's white and should not talk against his government. So I think we should send this back to the city council and send a copy to the city attorney and the FBI as well as the state prosecutor over at Temple and Broadway to have his recusal on this matter, so to make sure that Kern Price is not funneling more money to his wife. Because you see, that's how you get in trouble. Remember, black men get in trouble when they try to fuck with white pussy. Don't do that.
2 minutes. 2 minutes is up.
We have another public comment for item number 1, and that would be the person starting with the letter F.
So in regards to the 57th Street Los Angeles Transportation Nigger Corridor Project, why is it that CD9 motherfucking 2016 with Mr. Davis there was speaking against our advocate, Mr. W, at that event, saying, I'm gonna make an example of your white ass motherfucker? No, that's not what happened. See, you got derailed because Mark Ridley Thomas, now a felon, along with that specified metro transition bullshit, that nigga too shows you how corrupted criminals are, like Peter Thomas, a former attorney, and those other 1,600 goddamn attorneys that got in trouble. So I'm here about that 57th Street calendar days because I see that we're going to have a disruption on the public right-of-ways during weekly morning peak hours. And this nigga, myself, and my little service dog are complaining that you dumb motherfuckers better have enough signage, you better have appropriate detours for handicap access to meet the 2010 standard, because this nigga knows that a public right-of-way should be a right-of-way that's safe and protects our safety, especially us poor Negroes, poor minority motherfuckers, poor jackasses, assholes, idiots, morons like you got to understand that when a white motherfucker like me, Armando Herman, speaks about transportation and temporary road closures, you niggas better check yourself before you wreck yourself, or as they said to Mr. Ridley Thomas, so
2
long,
minutes.
nigga.
2 minutes is up.
All right, let's move on and close public comment on item number 1. And I will read the item for the record. And this is Bureau of Engineering, Council District 1. And that's a street closure, McKinley Avenue between Slauson Avenue and 57th Street, Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority Rail-to-Rail Active Transportation Corridor Project. Recommending that the board determine that the temporary closure of McKinley Avenue between Slauson Avenue and 57th Street is categorically exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act under the state CEQA guideline, Article 19, Section 15301C and 15304H, known as CEQA. Notice of exemption, temporary closure of McKinley Avenue between Slauson Avenue and 57th Street for Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Rail-to-Rail Active Transportation Corridor Project, prepared by the City of Los Angeles Bureau of Engineering Environmental Management Group. This determination is consistent with Metro's CEQA Notice of Exemption, Metro's Project CEQA Notice of Exemption, and the National Environmental Policy Act documentation for a categorical exclusion dated April 27, 2017. Number 2, specify that Metro Transit Division of BOE located at 1149 South Broadway, the board located at 200 North Spring Street, and other relevant city departments are custodians of the documents or materials which constitute the record of the proceedings upon which the board's decision is based. Number 3, approve the request to temporarily close McKinley Avenue between Slauson Avenue and 57th Street for 162 days, starting Friday, September 8th at 7 a.m. and ending Friday, February 16, 2024 at 7 p.m., subject to the conditions identified within the report. And number 4, approve the peak hour exemption request to allow construction work within the public right-of-way during weekday morning peak hours, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., and weekday afternoon peak hours, 3:30 to 7 p.m., starting Friday, September 8, 2023, and ending Friday, February 16, 2024, for McKinley Avenue between Slauson Avenue and 57th Street, subject to the conditions identified within with this report. And before us, we have Mr. Curtis Tran. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner, Board Member. My name is Curtis Tran. I'm with Bureau of
Can
Engineering.
you speak into the mic?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank-
Can you hear me now? Let me start again. Good morning, Commissioners, Board Member. My name is Curtis Tran. I'm with the Bureau of Engineering Metro Transit Division. The Metro Rail-to-Rail project is a 5 miles, a street improvement project. They are converting an existing new rail right-of-way into a bike and pedestrian path connecting several rail line and bus line. Purpose of the project is to provide a safe, dedicated walking, cycling corridor to promote healthy neighborhoods and link it between local communities, schools, shopping, employment center, transit hub, and other destination. This request is for a temporary closure of McKinney Avenue between Slauson Avenue and 57th Street for 162 calendar day beginning Friday, September 8, 2023, and ending Friday, February 16, 2024. This closure will be needed to reconstruct the sidewalk, the curb ramps, new bike path, and also a raised crosswalk as well. In addition, storm drain and other utility landscaping will be done as part of this improvement. All the major submittal plan have been approved. LADOT had approved worksite traffic control plan for this closure, and also Council District 9 had concurred their support for this closure. Metro, let me discuss a little bit about Metro relations outreach. Metro construction relation team have been informing and updating adjacent stakeholder, including business, between McKinney Avenue, Central Avenue, between Slauson and 57th Street as well. Metro also coordinating with various educational institutions in the area. If there is no potential concern or any opposing to the closure of this McKinney Avenue. At the time of the outreach, at the time of writing this report, and also recently, there was no unhoused individual on McKinney Avenue. And if in the future, if there are any unhoused individual, Metro will issue cards and will provide contact information with different city agency and county agency, and that provide service for the unhoused population. This is the end of my report. I have city staff from BOE and DOT online and Metro staff in the audience to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your report. Commissioners, do we have any questions? Go ahead, Commissioner Reyes.
So we have tackled similar requests in the past, and always my question is, even though there is an exemption from the CEQA, right, and mitigation measures are going to be implemented, what we're talking about here are the disadvantaged communities. They bear the burden of the pollution and the traffic and the noise, and the closure will be during those periods where schools are open, traffic will be heavier. And so my question is, are there other additional measures that we can do, even though we claim that there's cumulative impact, but it's not that significant? For me, it is significant anytime we do a project that are in those areas. So my question is, are there extra measures that we're taking on top of what I just mentioned, so that then these communities are then assured that their safety and their public health are also being considered despite this project?
Commissioner, I'm going to yield the floor to the rail-to-railman construction team, and they can tell you some of the additional measure that they mitigate, okay?
Good evening, Commissioners. So as far as extra mitigations, so as of this time, we are not planning to do any work at night, so there should not be any noise pollution at night for that type of work. We are also creating safety conditions. We all have appropriate signage to let people know where they can go, pedestrians as well as vehicles. We are doing extra reach out to the communities. I have my community relations person here as well. We've informed the local businesses, local schools, local religious institutions about this closure. We have not had any indication of negative feedback in regards to that. So we are continue to reach out to the community as well.
So my concern is about the air quality as well. Are there extra measures like monitoring that takes place while the construction is going on?
So we have strict compliance that we have for environmental conditions, including our construction equipment, that we have an environmental representative that often follows up, making sure that we give monthly reports as far as that environmental aspect of, I apologize, I think it's a type 3 type equipment that has strict compliance to making sure that they are meeting those environmental impacts.
Yeah, because these are smaller particulates, and those affect public health more. So I'm very interested in just making sure that those measures are undertaken and communicated with the public, especially the surrounding areas, the businesses, and if there are residents around there, that they know and that they are aware that we're taking those precautionary measures for them.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you for your questions. Pro Tem Davis?
Yes, and I appreciate the question in terms of the impact of public health. You did mention in your write-up that this is consistent with the practice of the agency in terms of doing this construction work. So the elements that would have allowed you to get an exemption here are consistent with the way in which you get exemptions in other inner city areas. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and you mentioned also additionally that you're not going to be operating at night. So I would suspect that the hours of operation in terms of doing it after hours has some impact upon some of the issues of CEQA. Is that right?
It does not, other than for the actual traffic closure itself, but we are maintaining safety conditions for putting up positive protection, what we call K-rail, to protect the workers as well as the public.
What impact would having met the requirements of CEQA have on the project if in fact you had to adhere to the standards of CEQA? What would that have meant to the project?
We have done traffic studies in this area as far as the traffic impact. We have, I apologize, my environmental person is not here today, but we've done multiple studies in regards to this area. We found that there's minimal impact to the traffic impacts. We also have strict compliance issues for the particulates that have been mentioned previously. We have testing requirements that we have to meet. There's multiple things that we do as far as our environmental aspect of the project.
So if you had to endure the standards of CEQA, it would have done what to the project?
If we had not done,
If you had to have. If you didn't have the CEQA exemption, what would that have meant to the project?
if we did not have the exemption, then we would not be able to do the project. I apologize. I'm not sure I understand the question.
No, that's answering my question. Why would you not be able to do the project if you had to meet the standards that are prescribed by CEQA?
So as far as the environmental impacts, we have to make sure that we meet compliance with environmental studies. We have to make sure that we are meeting the CEQA requirements for the exemption portion. I apologize again. I'm not sure.
So, well, in other words, does following the requirements of CEQA, which you asked for an exemption for and were granted, if in fact you had not been granted it, would the CEQA requirements that you would have had to meet, would they have done what to the project? I don't want to answer for you because I thought you can answer for me. For example, does it delay the project? Is it more costly, effective, or efficient? For what is the reason why an exemption to CEQA is important in advancing this project?
I apologize. Thank you for providing clarification. Yes, so if we did not have the exemption, we would not be able to meet certain standards as far as scheduling. This would take quite a bit more time, more cost. It would have delays to how we would be able to do the project. And I apologize, I'm not as familiar with those CEQA requirements as my environmental people are, but it does have considerable impact as far as time frame and money.
So obviously, the question that was asked by my colleague is critically important in terms of the safety of the residents, and I guess you've addressed that to some degree. Now, you mentioned in your report that there was an education component to this project. Can you elaborate? I apologize for not really hearing you clearly. Could you just for me briefly summarize what you said about education and its presence in this project? You said something about there being an educational requirement, and I did not hear past that.
Sure, Commissioner. My understanding, Metro, we've been discussing with Metro Community Outreach staff and Ms. Pola, Barry on the audience here. She'll explain to you more further, but they have been informing, they have been contacting various educational institutions such as LA Academy Middle School, for example, 49th Street Elementary. They've been in contact with them, informing them of this construction activities, the closure, duration. So far, we haven't heard any negative feedback, and they are aware of the construction. They are aware of the activity out there. So
you're saying that your outreach has been inclusive and comprehensive, basically, in terms of many of the stakeholders in the area. You have made sure, as an agency doing the work, that you've reached out to them and informed them on what's going to be happening. Is that basically
yes.
what you're telling me?
That is correct, Commissioner. Through various medium form, web, social media, also meeting and phone call and so on.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. All right, do we have any other questions, Commissioner Corsand?
I think we've exhausted questions, but I do want to commend you, Curtis, and your team for coming a week before this closure. Usually we would get them, the same day. And the second part, this is the second closure for this area, for this project, not the first. And I think we learned lessons from the first one where we had to grant an extension as a board, and the material on the roadway or what was being removed was a little bit more tougher than anticipated. So while it may be 162 days, it's more on the cautious side, so you don't have to come back for a second extension or a first extension. So this is actually for your Metro colleague behind you. It's always great when the closure requests come with enough time for us to digest the information.
You're right, Commissioner. We try to get the board report up here as soon as we can. There's many issues related to closure, like informing the community for one thing, and get concurrent from and feedback from community. Everything got to be positive. There's no negative, or minimize the negative before we bring to your board. So that do take some time, and I do recognize and apologize. And in the past, we don't bring the board report to the board here. Our board report to the board here with more time. And one thing, you're right. This is more if you want to call abandoned railroads, and this area haven't had much improvement in years and years. So now we're doing the improvement when we open up the ground, we find things that unexpected, or the material down there shouldn't be using to the current standard, and we have to remove them and replace them. And we found utility that's been there for years and no record whatsoever. But I do want to say one thing. Last time we did ask for an extension of Town Avenue to like end of October, but contractor Tim did a very diligent job, and we were able to finish. I believe we finished this weekend. Like way ahead of what we thought would happen. So we don't, or at least Metro contractor, the longer they're out there, it's cost and time. So they do diligent and work very hard, try to get it open as soon as possible. So yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I don't see any further questions. Thank you for your report. I know this one's a long time coming, and I just had clarifying questions. It looks like it's a block. Is that right, McKinley? The work is all going to be done on McKinley?
Yes, majority work will be on McKinney and a little bit on Slauson as well, because
Okay.
we got installed curb ramps for that intersection. So the work do spill into Slauson.
So on McKinley from Slauson to 57th?
So McKinney and Slauson is and T intersection. Slauson running east-west and McKinney go north and south. It's only halfway within the metro right-of-way
Okay.
on McKinney.
All right, and just in terms of the outreach, if you can just put it on for public record, the businesses that will be impacted, they've been contacted, and then the LA Academy has been contacted as well?
Yes. I'd like to invite Ms. Perla up here. She had a lot more detail. She does the actual legwork on this. Go ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners. Perla Berry with Metro. Outreach was conducted to the schools that are off of McKinley, and also LA Academy, which is a block west from the intersection, and also to the businesses south of the closure itself, as there will be an impact to one of their driveways. So they have been informed of the closure of their driveway and the closure of McKinley at Slauson.
Okay. And how were they informed?
Phone calls and also in-person meetings.
Okay.
And the community at large received notices, hand-delivered. We sent out 1,500 notices to the community. We also had community meetings via Zoom that are recorded and also uploaded to the Metro website.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right. Commissioners, do we have any other questions? No. Do we have a motion to move this item?
So moved.
All right. Mr. Tanada, we have a motion by Commissioner Corson and a second by Pro Tem Davis. If you could please take roll call.
Great, I'll go ahead and tabulate the vote, starting with you, Vice President Villegas,
Aye.
Commissioner Corzine,
Aye.
Commissioner Pro Tem Davis,
Aye.
and Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This item is adopted and will carry forthwith.
Thank you. Okay. Let's move on to item number 2, and this is a motion, and we do have 2 public speakers. Why don't we start with person starting with W, can go first.
Apologize to organize another room, but I really do need to talk about some of this shit. Now, we got here, but how come, Mr. Davis, one of your commissioners is sitting there with a tag that says city attorney? I don't know Corzan's a city attorney, so isn't that a conflict of interest that he's both your lawyer and a commissioner? I think we need clarification on that. Now, this is all this shit here, Jose Huizar's money from 2018. That was the year the search warrant got put in. You put $4 million in his money, and you gave $5.6 million in 2018 to Mr. Huizar. Thank you so much. Thank you. Right. But after the FBI came in with their search warrant, you start cutting his money down, you racist motherfuckers. You don't hate people Latinos. 2022, only $1,500,000. That's pocket change, bitch. And you only do it 'cause of them federal agents. You got FBI-itis. That's what you got. Now you go to 2023 and Kevin Day lying. 0 for contracts. But after he told you he ain't gonna resign, that you can go fuck yourselves, you put in $3 million. So now we got $10 million fucking dollars for the 7th Streetscape project. But when I drive through 7th Street, you look like a pile of fucking shit. What the fuck are you doing with the $10 million fucking dollars, you dumb motherfuckers? Kevin wants to know that too. And when I see him today, I'm going to give him this legal document that
2
I
minutes.
have
Your 2 minutes
so
is up.
that you can be arrested and charged as well with Weezer.
Time
You're
is
going
expired.
to prison.
Thank you. All right, the next person is a person starting with the letter A.
For the record, it says fatty or fat. So let's just get it right. You know, no one seems to get nothing right anymore, especially what you've done to Kevin DeLeon, suppressing him from commission meetings, censoring him from committees. Why is that? What did Kevin DeLeon do in CD14 to deserve this ill treatment by his colleagues in the city of Los Angeles? That's what we want to know. Because this fucking chump change of $10 million apparently doesn't seem to provoke not one of you, because it's just fucking money falling out of the trees, right? I'm sure Mommy Teresa up there probably goes to church every Sunday and prays, let it rain more money from the money trees, right, Davis? Yeah. So CD14, regarding the streetscape improvement, you can't improve when you got goddamn homeless people sleeping on the street, tents on the street, tents on the sidewalk. Why does this continue to be a fucking infrastructure problem? Because your dumbass, dumb mayor don't get her shit together to fix the problem. That's why. And how many people on her committees and commissions have dropped? If you put Kevin DeLeon in there, who's a victim by the city of Los Angeles, and who's been turn me around spell by the city, because let's face it, Kevin Gott's big nuts, and he wants you guys like squirrels to crawl up his tree and find them and put them back on the committee and commission. So I'm here in support for Kevin DeLeon and CD14. I'm not in support of 7th Street streetscape, though, because fucking improvements should be throughout the city of
Your
Los
2 minutes is up.
Angeles. Throughout. Yeah, throughout.
Your time is expired. Thank you. All right, let's move on then to item number 2, and this is a motion in Council District 14, funding sources for 7th Street Streetscape Improvement Project, requesting that the board approve the following amended funding table for the use by 7th Street Streetscape Improvement Project. And before us, we have Mr. George Wang and Winnie Lam. Thank you, Ms. Winnie.
Good morning. Winnie Lam with the Bureau of Engineering Street Improvement Division. I'm the project manager for this project. On June 25th, 2021, the Board of Public Works awarded construction contract for the 7th Street Streetscape Improvement Project to Los Angeles Engineering and Company. At that time of the award, account information on 2 of the funding source was to be determined due to pending budget adoption and appropriation account identification. Since then, we have the account information, and the Office of Accounting has requested the Bureau of Engineering to seek board approval to reflect the actual account numbers in the status of funding section. So the first funding source is the $1,500,000 for the fiscal year 2021 to 22 Capital and Technology Improvement Expenditure Program. The second funding source is the $1,471,000 Affordable Housing Sustainability Community Round 2 grant. And it's front-funded from the 7th Street improvement account. Therefore, the reimbursement will also go back and deposit into that account. So if these two funding source is identified in the council, in the board motion, and for this motion, there is no actual change to the construction contract itself, and there's no budget authority increase in this motion. This concludes my report. If you have any question, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the additional information and for the context to be able to clarify the project on 7th Street, streetscape improvement project. Commissioners, do we have any questions on this item? I don't see any questions. Do we have a second to my motion to approve this item? I second. And Mr. Tanada, we have a motion by myself and a second by Commissioner Reyes. If you can please take roll call.
Thank you. Vice President Vegas, I'll go ahead and tabulate the vote, starting with you, Vice President Villas,
Aye.
Commissioner Corzine,
Aye.
Commissioner Pro Tem Davis,
Aye.
and Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This item is adopted and will carry forthwith.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let us proceed then. Thank you, Ms. Lam, and thank you, George Wang, for being here. Enjoy your weekend. Appreciate it. All right, let's proceed then to item number 3, and this is an administrative item, and this is in, and I understand we have 2 speakers for public comment, and let's start with Mr. W. first.
Yes, and as you know, that we have a new elected councilwoman, Imelda Marcos Padilla, the first Filipina ever to be elected to the city council. Let's give her a hand. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Yes, sir. Imelda Marcos took over for that fat fucking cunt, Nuri Luisa Martinez, talking about black children being used as handbags, talking about little short Indian people being a bunch of dwarves. Well, fuck, I'm a dwarf, and I don't take it personally. Nah, the Bureau of Sanitation wants a personal services contract. How come it has to be a personal services contract? And what kind of specialized site do you need for water reclamation? It's very simple. You flush your toilet. First of all, you wrap your drugs not in cellophane, goddammit. You put it in a biodegradable bag. That's what I tell all my dealers. Put that shit in a biodegradable bag. And only use needles that are biodegradable. And then you flush. Now, you don't flush from your own toilet, Davis. You go get one of those public bathrooms with that power flush. That gets the drugs and the needles down so that the LAPD can't link it to your operation. Then it goes to the Tillman facility, and then they filter it out, and then it goes into the Santa Monica Bay, where the goddamn lions, the sea lions, and all of the other porpoises go, and they eat your drugs. That's what they do. That's why they swim so fast. Have you ever seen a porpoise, how fast that motherfucker swims? Because he's in the Santa Monica Bay ingesting cocaine
2
from
minutes,
our
your 2
court.
minutes is up.
Keep up the good work.
All right, let's move on. Then the second speaker is a person starting with the letter A.
FATTY, and you definitely know why, because that fat cunt in the CD6, yeah, look at CD6 BPW 0519, item number 3, administrative items. Well, we already know what the Changa was saying, but the Tonga doesn't understand that a recycle reclamation plant was needed 20 years ago. You know how many times I flush my shit down the toilet? Sometimes I put a bucket in my house just to save water since we've been having water restrictions. And I shit as good as I shit in the shitter house, putting that shit in a bag. And then I tie it up like I do with my little doggy bags. Woof, 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 woof. And then I dispose of the shit. Did you know that, Mommy Teresa? That's why I pray when I'm sitting in the library flushing that shit down the reclamation plant. Because for the specialized service, just to take a shit, I'm finding it very difficult why Parkwood Landscape Maintenance is going to have a continuance charge for all this shit in the reclamation plant. So I demand a clear, concise dollar amount what the goddamn landscape maintenance people are going to do to flush my shit gently down into the ocean, because I don't want the sea lions that go barf, 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 to yell back at me that you white niggers, your ass smells. You smell so bad, just like Ridley Thomas would say, so long, niggers.
2 minutes. Your 2 minutes is up.
All right, let's move on to item number 3, and this is the administrative item, Council District 6. The mayor and city council have approved the authorized the Board of Public Works on behalf of the Bureau of Sanitation to execute the proposed personal service contract with Parkwood Landscape Maintenance, Inc. for specialized site services at the Donald C. Tillman Reclamation Plant. And Mr. Tanada, we don't have anyone on this item, correct?
Correct.
All right, and since this is an administrative item, we just need to do approval of it. So I will move to approve this item.
Second.
All right, so Mr. Tanada, we have a motion by myself and a second by Pro Tem Davis. If you could please take roll.
Thank you, Vice President. We'll go ahead and tabulate the vote, starting with you.
Aye.
Commissioner Davis?
Aye.
Commissioner Corzine?
Aye.
Commissioner Reyes?
Aye.
This item is adopted and will carry forthwith.
All right, thank you. All right, item number 4, and we have public comment by a person with the letter W. 2 minutes, please.
Yes, I just want to let you know that you can go into the other crew there. They're giving presentations on organized labor. That's right. Now, as we know here, let's see. Oops! Congratulations, you just lost quorum. Let's give you a hand. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. La Presidente, she just left the room. Now, finally, a black man is in charge of this commission. Quick, before your light-skinned mistress comes out, let's get some business done here.
Sir, you need to stay on topic.
$100 million
Stay
fucking
on topic.
dollars. Let's just approve $100 million for fixing these dirty-ass streets and sidewalks on this item before your white caretaker comes back and makes it $1 million. You got the money. This fucking streets look like shit. Look around on 4th Street. Look around on 6th Street. I walk these streets and I see nothing but tents, nothing but crack. Oh, bless you, whoever sneezed there. See that? That's because the air is dirty in this building because you have improper HVAC, as I've been yelling. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Achoo! All right.
Stay on topic.
That's right. Now we got this white motherfucker telling me to goddamn stay on top. Oh, too late, Mr. Davis. Your white-skinned caretaker returns, so we're not going to be able to do what we want.
Sir, stay on topic.
Yeah, I know. Stay on topic. A California bar member who spent 7 years in school to come here and tell a black puppet to stay on topic. What a fucking fail. And we just trying to get sidewalk money on our streets. And look at that clock. It says minus 98. What the fuck is minus 98? Is that your goddamn IQ? It's minus 98.
Your 2 minutes is up.
That's your IQ.
All right, next one, we have a person starting with the letter A.
Laughter's good for you when you have mental health, but fuck, this is just unfair treatment. But I like it. I like when a stop notice on the engineers and the attorney on record. Where the fuck are the improvements on the curb and curb ramps and sidewalks that this fucking attorney to my left hand and his fucking system of systematic discrimination against the public for ADA? Why haven't you put those goddamn new sidewalks and the infrastructure of those federal fucking dollars and state dollars to fix the motherfucking sidewalk and streets, Mr. Attorney? Stay on topic. I'm talking about the sidewalks, the ramps, the curb cuts. That's the reason why a former asshole.
We have a microphone, there's no need to yell.
All right.
This is your warning.
All right. So you see, being a Asian American white man, I want you to know, no sidewalk in street in Little Tokyo. Why not? Where the ramp? Why not? You see, even people laugh because they know it's true. People laugh because they know how foolish you are, Mr. City Attorney. You don't look like an attorney. You, with the pink shirt. Yeah, fucking faggots fix our sidewalks and streets. Make America great again. Save America. Vote for Trump. Vote for Kevin De Leon. And as far as I can say it on record, 42 U.S.C. 1983, fuck you!
You can leave now. I'm going to be removing you. If we can have our officer remove. I gave you a warning and I asked you not to yell. We're going to move on to item number 4.
Mike, lady, how could I be yelled?
You're at 2 minutes and you yelled.
Yeah, during my time of public comment. So
It was
you give
over.
me a warning, you discriminate against me because I was on the mic.
Your time was over and you yelled.
Mommy Teresa, I was at the mic.
Thank you. Let's move on to item number 4. If our security can please remove. Thank you.
And you can't even read the clock, so how do you know if I was on time or not, Mommy Teresa?
All right.
Mine is 98.
I,
This is why you guys get the FBI all the time. They do shit like this. This is why. That's why. That's why the FBI is here. That's why they're here in the bill. They're here.
and
FBI 310 477 6565. Check yourself, Mommy Teresa, before you wreck yourself. You goddamn know well, Mommy Teresa. I was at the podium before you took that action. You fatty, fat, racist bitch. ADA, fuck you.
all right. Item number 4 is communications, and this is a stop notice. EBS General Engineering, Inc. EBS General Engineering, Inc. is transmitting a stop notice in the amount of $45,915.33 for PCC improvements, curb and gutters and curb ramps, sidewalks, and other flat work for Baker Electric, Inc. in connection with Reimagine Ventura Project Phase 1. And this is communications. We don't have any presentations on it. So I will make a motion to approve this item if we can get a second.
Second.
Thanks. I'll take a second by Commissioner Reyes. Mr. Tanada, if you could please take roll call.
Thank you, Vice President Vegas. I'll go ahead and tabulate the vote and start with you, Vice President Vegas.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
Commissioner Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes. This item is adopted and will carry forthwith.
Thank you. All right, that motion is passed. And let's move on to item number 5, and these are oral reports, and we still have public comment by a person with the letter W.
We had some issues. So one of the things you like to do is you like to put a timer here that you can't see the time. It says minus 98. So how the fuck did he know he didn't have time? You don't do that, Davis. What you're doing is you're allowing this white handler to take black men and put their hands on other black men to move them out of a meeting. That's discrimination. And that's what this white woman trying to do. Now, she got a Latino name, but she white. You can see she pasty ass white. She hiding behind that name. She's not no goddamn Native American. She's a colonialist. And that's why people having trouble. That's why your streets look like shit. That's why all your street lights are done. That's why I have 934 311 complaints since January 2022 and only 17% resolved. Because you're failing the people. And that's why you threw out that man. Just for telling you the truth. That's why you throw people out of meetings. You use force to take and go and constructively commit your fraud while you sit in this room and cheat the taxpayers out of their fair share. Especially black neighborhoods, especially CD1 and CD10 and CD14 really getting fucked up because you taking the money away and you're pushing your homeless over west and west and west. And that's why we're here today. We wanted to see if you'd come over and help. Instead, you got this black motherfucker behind me ready to grab me at a moment's fucking notice and try to intimidate you, but you will not. To quote the words of Mark Ridley Thomas, I check myself before I wreck myself. So have a good weekend.
2 minutes. Your 2 minutes is up.
Okay, we have a oral report for item number 5, and this is specialized on-call maintenance services by the Bureau of Sanitation. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm here to give my oral report for the specialized as-needed maintenance contract.
Thank you. If you can just identify yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name's
That's okay.
Sandra Cristobal. I'm an environmental engineer at the Hyperion Treatment Plant. The contract manager for this contract.
Thank you.
So I'll give the numbers for the last fiscal year, which was 22-23. It was a total of 21 projects that were initiated and authorized to a value of $4,826,673. And then I'll go ahead for this fiscal year. For this quarter, we have a total of 8 projects that have been initiated for a total of $734,349. And that's under, there's 2 contractors under this contract, Murray Company and Echo, but Echo's not participating at the moment until we get an amendment through. So we don't have any values for them. As far as the business inclusion program, the overall contract, under Echo, the total achieved participation was in the amount of 33%, which is $482,000. And under Murray, we have 75% achieved participation. I don't know if you wanted me to give you guys the breakdown of each MBE, WBE percentages. Do you need that?
Normally, we get that, and we are able to review it as you're, going through your report.
Oh, okay. So before I come in, I have to submit it to Dr. Campos. Okay, I'll take a note of that in the next meeting.
That's okay.
Yes, so our total MBE achieved participation under Murray was, for the overall contract, was $12,636,263, and that's out of the total invoiced amount of $16,739,840. So that's a 75% achieved participation. Out of those amounts, 65% are SBEs, 50% is EBE, 11% is OBE, and yes, that's the finish of my report.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. If you could just submit your report to Mr. Tanada. That would be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. T. Okay. I'll send
And
that by-
commissioners, do we have any questions? No, we're good.
Okay.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you. All right, and then last item, and doesn't appear that we have public comment. So last item before the board is status on update on major upcoming street improvement projects, Bureau of Street Services. Yeah.
Should work. Good morning, Vice President Villegas, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, and Mr. Tanada. My name is Gary Brandt, a superintendent with the Street Renewal Division of Streets LA. This information is being provided to keep the public informed on upcoming resurfacing projects and to minimize the impact on the community as well as delays. For additional information or concerns, you can contact our coordinating section for the Street Renewal Division at 213-847-3200. There are no major street projects scheduled in the Metro or Valley region during the week of 9/3/23 through 9/9/23. However, we will provide an update on our 23-24 pavement preservation program. During the week of September 1st through September 9th, 2023, the Valley and Metro regions will complete 9 projects for a total of 4.94 lane miles. The press releases were distributed and notifications have been issued. Streets LA has coordinated with the council offices to assist with outreach to stakeholders. We have coordinated with Los Angeles Department of Transportation for traffic control assistance. And this information is also available on the Streets LA website, streetsla.lacity.org, using the Resurfacing Open Projects icon. This concludes my report.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Do we have any questions? I think we're good. Thank you for the submittal of the report in advance.
Thank you very much.
All
And
right, have a good weekend.
wonderful holiday weekend.
Thank you, you too. All right, Mr. Tanada, did we clear the desk?
Yes, we did, Vice President Villegas.
Okay. And thank you, everyone that's on our Zoom link as well. We've cleared the desk and we are done with our business for today. And commissioners, we will not have a management meeting today. All right, thank you.